What's going on, boys? It's Caleb, or Namirine, back with another video, and today we are talking about episode 5 of Lord of the Mysteries. But before we get into the actual episode, I have 3 things that I want to address. Firstly, I have a cut on my head. We're not even going to talk about how that happened, but I got a cut on my forehead. Secondly, this is my second time trying to record this video. Last time, about halfway through the recording, my PC decides that, hey, it's just not going to work. Everything just goes black. It still was technically turned on, but it just went black. It just decided not to work, and for about 30 minutes, it would do nothing. Eventually, I got it fixed. Well, I didn't fix it. It just decided just to turn back on. That was pretty cool, I guess, you know. At least it wasn't fully broken, but it corrupted the entire video, which was pretty cool. And thirdly, if you watched my last video on Lord of the Mysteries, well, not my last video, but my last video on Lord of the Mysteries, episode 4, about a week ago, I said that I was going to start reading the novel, and I do still plan on doing that, but I ended up not starting it yet. And that's because in that video, a lot of people in the comments were telling me that I should wait until season 1 finishes before I go and read the novel, for a few reasons. Some were saying that it'd make reading the novel a bit easier, and other people were saying that I should wait because they'd prefer like a blind reaction to the series, I guess. So with both those reasonings, I'm just going to wait until season 1 finishes, mainly for the first reason, because I think this series is a little bit confusing, so I think having some knowledge from the anime before going to the novel might make it easier, like people were saying, but who knows. With that, let's actually get into the episode. The episode begins at this opera house or theater, whatever you want to call it, and during a set, this guy named Triss is the hero of the whole play. And after the play, Triss is signing autographs, talking to pretty girls, basically anything that famous Broadway actors and just actors in general would do. But the moment that he sees Klein and the captain, he decides to get into the car and leave. Well, the carriage, not a car, but same thing. Then this guy who seems to be very much on edge begins talking to Klein about how he's been having this reoccurring bad dream. So Klein does his seer shit and goes into his dream, or his nightmare per se, and sees that this ship is burning, getting attacked by barbarians. And what's unique about this dream is that the guy says, even during the dream, that there was no reason for them to attack the ship. They just attacked for some unknown reason. But in the distance, you can see Triss, saying that he was the mastermind behind this attack. That part was a little bit confusing to me. I think that dream was supposed to be a future event that was going to take place if Klein hadn't, intervened and all that, and the Nighthawks. So if someone in the comments could clarify that for me, that'd be great, because I think it was supposed to be something that was gonna happen. I'm not sure, though. Let me know, though. Anyhow, a dream isn't enough to arrest someone or go and kill someone, so they need to get actual evidence upon him. So the captain says we need help from the mandated punishers and the machinery hive mind. So there is now 3 Beyonder sects or groups going after this one dude. Well, dude for now. We then cut over to what Triss is doing, and, he's laying in bed with 2 beautiful women, and you might think, wow, they must be fans of his from his, Broadway thing. Not exactly. Basically, those women were married, keyword were. He manipulated their husbands to kill each other. Yeah, and then fucks their wives. Pretty cool. Here it's revealed that Triss is a Sequence 8 Beyonder, instigator of the Assassin's Pathway for the Demonist sect. Also present in this orgy room is one of the higher-ranking members of this religious sect, the Demonist sect. And she basically is saying congratulations to Triss for all the killing and making people kill each other that he's been doing recently. So she rewards him with the formula for the Sequence 7 of the Assassin Pathway. Which we then cut over to Klein and Old Man Neil, and we start getting some really good world building. We see Tinjin's underground market. In this underground market, it of course sells, tons of stuff you'd expect at an underground market, but the one thing that it sells that's really cool is it sells a lot of the ingredients needed for this sequence potions. So it's basically needed if you're a Beyonder to go down here. With that being said, guess who's also down there? I mean, I don't know if you can do it. It's pretty hard. All right, I'll give you the answer. It was Triss. He's buying ingredients for his Sequence 7 potion. And Klein spots him, but he also notices that he is being followed. Triss too also notices this and basically starts a massive fight, completely sealing the fact that he is guilty, and they can now use force to arrest him or even kill him. Wait, backtrack. For that, when they first reach the underground market, there's this guy there. I forgot his name. Damn, I'm really blanking on his name. But he was a pretty cool character. He's like this super like crazy dude, just basically a madman. Like, I mean, just a total weirdo. But he is super like spiritually keen. Like, he can see a lot about spirituality. And when he sees Klein, he notices the smell of death all over him. Basically seeing that he basically resurrected. Anyhow, they continue their chase against Triss until eventually he runs into this building and they completely lose sight of him. They 100% lost track of him, which makes no sense. The only thing that came out of that building that anyone could see, only people, were a couple of women. Hey, one of them might be Lily Tino, who knows? Anyway, a couple of weeks and months pass by, and the city of Tingen is very peaceful. There is zero Beyonder incidents. A bunch of people, well, other Beyonders, thought that Triss had skipped town and he's just nowhere to be found. Until a bunch of, poor people, basically, who were kind of already close to death, but weren't on death's door exactly, start dying. And the one connection that they all have is a woman's touch, like a random woman touching them on the back, and then a day later or whatever, they're just dead. With this, we get a pretty funny moment with our two protagonists, Leonard and Klein, where they're basically saying this is very clearly a lifesteal thing, where they're probably, the captain comes to the conclusion, all this stuff, that they're stealing life force to probably summon a demon. One thing I want to talk about that, actually, before we go any further, when Leonard was saying that, him and Klein are the two protagonists and they both have secrets, I'm wondering if Leonard is also a transmigrator. That's the only thing I could think of. Is either there's a transmigrator or maybe he's stronger than he's made out to be. Maybe he's also a very high sequence person. I really don't know. Something like that is the only thing I can think of. With that being said, they eventually track her down and a fight ensues. I mean, I'm not going to explain the entirety of the fight, break it down little by little, but it was a very, very cool fight. We got to see a lot of battle IQ out of Leonard, the captain, and just a bunch of cool stuff like that. But they didn't necessarily win the fight like they did against the clown. She got away. Here, Klein does his, seer shit, goes up to this mirror and it's mirror, mirror on the wall, fucking reflect the baddies of them all or something. I don't know, I just did something. And, he sees the girl's face and damn, she looks familiar. Wait a minute, OMG, she was that girl who bumped into me at that one place when we were chasing Triss. With this and, the deduction of the captain, they realize that girl was Triss. Triss is now a woman. Yeah. However, I don't think it's a cosplay. I think, the Sequence 7 potion, dead ass, completely changed his entire body, everything about him, and made him legit a girl, not just snippy. He is legit a woman now, I think. But what's funny about this, the captain during some part of the episode, earlier on, he was basically saying how the demonist sect is does have men and women, but the upper echelon of it is all women, 100% women. And he has a revelation with that, and he is super shocked. Very shocked. He's wait a minute. With Trish now being, Trisha, that must mean that, a lot of the upper echelon were originally men. And, so, I'm starting to think that, he may have had some relations, with some demoness people in the past, if you know what I mean, right? Well, I guess more so this, a sword fight. That aside, the episode ends off with formerly Triss, getting onto a train and a bunch of men lusting after her. Little do they know. Overall, though, a pretty good episode. It wasn't my favorite and definitely wasn't the best out of all of them, but it did introduce some pretty cool aspects like the underground market, which is, I assume, gonna play a pretty bigger role, a much bigger role later on, especially with like the potions and all that shit. Another thing too that this episode ended up showing was that potions like can completely, or I think at least, I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Triss. The potions like can completely alter people, like entirely, which I think that's pretty cool that they can do that. But other than that, there's really not much else to talk about. Like, I don't really have like any new theories that I could say about this episode. It's just overall a good episode. There was like two things though. There was a scene about like Hornatius. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Like I think it's Hornatius. When he was in that dream like the dream scene when he was going through the dude's nightmare, he like transports like his dream. I don't really know. Somehow some way or another. He goes to this place and Hornatius like is there. I have zero idea what the fuck that is supposed to mean, but I'm sure that is obviously going to be very important, especially because someone in the comment on my last video was saying, nothing in this anime is a coincidence, so I'm sure that's going to become very, very important later on. The only thing, though, that I could, like, really theorize on would be the Leonard thing, when he, said to Klein, they both have secrets, they're both protagonists, but, I mean, that's so little to go off of. Only thing that I can think of that really would make true sense was that he knows he's a transmigrator or something or another. Like, he knows that Klein at least died, maybe. Maybe he doesn't know that Zhou, I think his name is Zhou, I think that's how you say it. He probably doesn't know that, but he might know that Klein, got resurrected, basically. But that doesn't explain what his secret is. Maybe he's also, rebirthed or transmigrator. Really, I think that's all it could be. Only that's like the only thing I think it could be right now. Like, truthfully, is that he's also a transmigrator. Yeah, or like I said earlier, it could mean he could also be saying, he's hiding power. Like, he also has maybe a fog realm too. Like, he knows about Klein's fog realm that he has, and maybe he also has like his own little weird realm. I mean, I don't know. We did see when he uses his powers, like, he does kind of have, like, in earlier episodes, like, he does kind of, sort of, it kind of looks like a similar thing, like a different realm, but, I mean, I don't know. Really, I have nothing to go off on that. I'm just talking out my ass when it comes to this. Anyway, with that, this wraps up the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I also made a Discord server. So if y'all want to join that, right now it's just me and one other guy in there. So feel free to join it if you want. I mean, it's bare bones. I mean, I haven't even added any channels into it yet. But yeah. Anyway, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.